Equals October 13th, 1939. The northern winds whipped over Scapa Flow, that ancient bastion of the Royal Navy nestled among the Orkney Islands. The waters lay calm, yet watchful eyes seemed few. Inside the heart of the anchorage rested HMS Royal Oak, a proud veteran of the Great War, crewed by more than 1,000 souls. Routine hummed through her iron hull. In the mess deck below, laughter mingled with fatigue, young sailors unaware that a hunter lurked beneath the waves. Far out in the darkness, just off Home Sound, a steel predator advanced. Kapitänleutnant Günther Prien stood in the conning tower of U-47, the cold spray biting his face. He studied the faint glimmer of ships beyond the barriers and whispered to his crew, "Tonight we sail into the lion's den." The anchors of destiny had shifted, and the night would soon bear witness to tragedy.
The barrier defenses of Scapa Flow were meant to be impenetrable, sunken block ships forming a twisting maze of steel and shadow. Yet at 0:30 hours, Prien guided U-47 into the narrow Kirk Sound channel. The submarine's engines throbbed like a heartbeat in the abyss. "Steady now," he murmured, eyes fixed on the horizon where the British base slept unaware. One false move, and the U-boat would run aground or be spotted by sentries. The moon vanished behind drifting clouds, granting the cover of darkness. As the sub slid past wrecks and twisted iron, the helmsman whispered, "We're through." It was an audacious breach, the pride of Germany slipping beneath Britain's supposedly invulnerable harbor. Above, the Royal Oak rocked gently on her chains, unaware that fate already circled below, like a shark beneath the calm sea.
Inside the cramped steel belly of U-47, the air shimmered with nervous heat and diesel fumes. Prien's eyes locked onto the periscope's dim glow. Through the lens, he saw the faint outline of the Royal Oak, majestic, motionless, a sleeping giant. "One torpedo, ready," whispered Engineer Peterson. "Fire." The hiss of compressed air broke the silence, and a sleek shape darted away into blackness. The crew held their breath. A muted thud, no explosion. The crew exchanged anxious looks. "Misfire," Prien muttered, his jaw tightening. Determined, he lined up for a second shot. 2 torpedoes, now. This time the night erupted with an enormous flash. The shock wave struck U-47's hull. "Hit! We've hit her!" shouted a sailor. Deep within Scapa Flow, the Royal Oak stirred, unaware of the doom still coming. It was only the beginning of a calamity that would shake Britain awake.
A sudden explosion rattled HMS Royal Oak from within. Sailors jolted awake in their hammocks, alarms echoing through steel corridors. "What was that?" someone shouted. On the bridge, Captain William Benn surveyed the confusion. Flames flickered from a forward compartment, smoke curling upward. Believing it an internal accident, damage control parties rushed forward, unaware of the unseen enemy beneath the waves. Down below, Prien watched and waited. The first strike had wounded, not killed. "We'll strike again," he whispered grimly. Meanwhile, aboard the battleship, the chaplain helped guide injured men through choking corridors as groaning metal echoed like thunder. A few moments of uneasy calm returned, enough for false relief to set in. Some men returned to their bunks, some even laughed nervously. They had no idea that a second, devastating blow was about to come.
At 1:16 hours, U-47 turned once more in silent water. Through his periscope, Prien aimed determinedly, his crew statues of tension. "All tubes, fire!" 3 torpedoes darted forth. Seconds later, an earth-shaking roar rolled across Scapa Flow. A massive column of flame engulfed the Royal Oak. Steel ripped apart, plating peeled like paper, and men were hurled into dark water. A sailor screamed, "She's going down!" The great battleship buckled and listed sharply to starboard as her mighty searchlights flickered out. Prien watched the inferno through a haze of disbelief. His mission was complete. He muttered a terse prayer for the fallen before ordering, "Full speed ahead! Let's get out before the dawn." Behind them, the pride of Britain vanished beneath the sea, taking 833 souls with her, their cries fading into the eternal deep.
The sea swallowed bodies and wreckage alike. Survivors struggled amidst flaming oil slicks, desperate voices echoing into the cold October air. 18-year-old midshipman Robert Jenkins kicked desperately, gasping into the dark. "Hold on, I've got you," another seaman called, pulling him toward an overturned lifeboat. The icy water constricted lungs and limbs. Above them, faint lights from shore began appearing, but it was too far for most. Jenkins clung to the boat's keels, numb and trembling. He whispered to no one, "Why us? Why here?" Around him floated fragments of the ship, a life ring, a boot, a prayer book. The night that had begun with calm military order had become an ocean of ghosts, and through the faint ripple of the waves came the echo of a single survivor's sob, a human sound that would haunt Orkney forever. Far below the waves, U-47 raced for open water. Inside, the crew barely dared breathe. British searchlights began sweeping the harbor, their beams slicing through mist and surf. "Keep her steady," Prien ordered. The engine's rumble seemed deafening against the pressure of silence. As they passed the rusted skeleton of an old block ship, sonar pings faintly echoed behind them. Pursuit was coming. "We have to clear the channel before dawn," muttered helmsman Andress. Every man aboard knew that one detection would mean annihilation. The black waves shielded them like a grave. Finally, as the horizon brightened faintly with dawn, Orkney's cliffs faded into the mist. Prien allowed himself a long breath. "We are free," he said softly. Above, the first light of morning revealed the smoke still rising from Scapa Flow, a funeral pyre on the sea.
News of the disaster spread with the speed of wildfire. By the morning of October 14, 1939, the Admiralty was in turmoil. Scapa Flow, believed impregnable, had been breached. Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain received the grim report. HMS Royal Oak sunk at anchor, 833 dead. In radio rooms and family parlors across Britain, disbelief turned to sorrow. The Royal Navy, symbol of security and empire, had been bloody within its own sanctuary. "It must not happen again," Admiral Forbes declared. Churchill, newly returned to the Admiralty, ordered immediate fortifications for every northern channel. The men lost that night were honored quietly, the wound to British pride not so easily healed. Across the North Sea, in Kiel, Prien was being hailed a hero, unaware that the faces of his enemies' dead now filled Britain's dreams.
Upon returning to Wilhelmshaven, Prien and his crew were met with thunderous applause. At a ceremony led by Admiral Donitz himself, Prien awarded the Knight's Cross, the first U-boat commander to receive it. Propaganda Minister Goebbels lauded him as the bull of Scapa Flow. German newspapers emblazoned his face across their front pages. In the smoky bars of the port city, the crew of U-47 lifted their glasses to their success, yet their eyes betrayed exhaustion. In quiet moments, Prien reflected on what he had seen, the glow of ships burning, the cries of dying men echoing across the sea. It was war, he told Endras softly, but it did not feel like triumph. Even as he smiled before cameras, a shadow lingered behind his gaze, a knowledge of what war truly demanded.
Today, the wreck of HMS Royal Oak lies silently on the seabed of Scapa Flow, her decks now cloaked in coral and memory. Each year, divers descend with solemn reverence, placing the white ensign upon her rusted hull. For the people of Orkney, the sea still whispers the names of the lost. They rest where they served, one local murmurs, gazing out at the gray waves. It is more than history, it is hallowed ground. The Royal Oak story remains one of both courage and tragedy, a reminder of how swiftly peace can shatter under the echo of war. As gulls circle in the cold wind, the water ripples softly, concealing the quiet tomb below. The sea, eternal and indifferent, keeps its secrets, but never forgets.